Perfect, man. How's it going? How's it going, Reese?
Yeah, good man. I don't know if we're going to steal Damon's thunder, but we've just closed a client. I don't exactly know which avenue it came through, whether it was cold call. I think it was cold call, but Damon's coming on in a second and he'll be able to confirm. But yeah, we just closed a client,
Oh,
which is
nice.
great.
You guys just closed one.
Yeah,
Massive,
yeah,
man. Let's
CBD
go.
brands.
Boom.
Yeah. Really fucking happy. Really
That's
happy.
awesome, man. Congrats. There we go. See, I knew it once we had this installed and had the additional volume, like things are gonna really start to click for you guys. Damon was telling me you had like high volume of calls booked this week, which is awesome.
Yeah, I definitely think bringing on the second SDR has helped massively. But he's also like, I think he's the kind of nature we were hoping for, as in like gung ho attitude kind of thing.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I was saying that on a call with Damon there last week. I think you were there too as well. But yeah, it's Keith, right? Keith, the guy on your team?
Yeah,
Getting more people like Keith would be massive. So yeah,
yeah. I think also Carlo's been, it's given Carlo a push as well. I think Carlo's been doing better as well.
perfect. Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying, that adding that competition is massive when you have the setters in there because now you got them going head to head. But more important, he's
Yeah,
basically going to start learning from Keith, and it's just going to boost his performance too. So it's interesting how it happens. So even if you get like two more guys like Keith, it's gonna be crazy. It's like what happens for our team, like the amount of volume that we get, and then at that point, you guys are just picking and choosing like who you want to come into the program, who you
yeah,
guys want to work with. It's a great feeling. So yeah, man, that's really great to hear. Congrats for sure, man. So there he is, Damon.
yeah.
There he is. Yeah, we're just
Uh,
having a big win. Great
Holy
job.
jeez. Yeah, man. It's been a lot. I know David and all you guys have to listen to what we talk about, but finally, like it's all kind of sinking now. And yeah, I've had one call today. One person said it's pushed to next week. I got another call in an hour. I had three calls yesterday. Unfortunately, only one of the three showed up, but we're just learning and coming
Mhm.
back around. So
But you got a big close, so that's awesome. You got one client there out of it, so congrats, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
pat on the back, and all that. The only thing I had, obviously we're on cloud nine here, but the only thing I had was just, I love it just came up with this guy. He's like, hey, what's my next steps? So normally I jump off the call, send him a link, he pays. Sometimes they take a week to pay, send him a contract. I love your website where it's just like, all right, I can say, let me go to the website with you right now. Let's walk through it. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know if you answered me back in school or not, but I'm just looking for how do I do that?
Yeah, no, I do got to get to that. I have to see if I can copy and paste that over into your Apex account. So
Okay.
what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make that a priority for tomorrow for me to actually take a look at that.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, I make an SOP and I'm gonna send it over and how you can do that via Loom. Does that work as well?
Yeah, totally. 100%. I just couldn't figure out how to even get it started.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I'll make that my top priority for tomorrow. That's the goal tomorrow.
Is there a way to dynamically put the price in there or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I
All right.
believe there is. I believe there
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Because you had a dynamic name, I remember from it. So if you could probably do that, you could probably do some other little dynamic stuff in there, like merge tag. Good. Perfect. That's all I've got this week. I was hoping that Keith, oh, there's Carlo. Hoping Keith would get on here. Is Keith on? I don't think he is.
No, I don't see Keith in the
No.
room. No.
He had a concern about like cold calls and all that. And by the way, Carlo's here. Good job, Carlo. Since you're here, bud, do you have anything, Carlo, that you wanted to ask about the cold calls you're doing?
No, nothing. It's just a different approach. It's a different approach from, what Aiden is teaching in school, but I don't know, it's working. So it's okay. I mean, I don't have any questions. I'm just, really adding everything up and making it my style, and that's just it.
Right.
There you go. Yeah. If you find something that works for that market, I told Damon last week, right? If you guys find that there's a specific scripting that you know works within that given market, run with it, right? We give you a foundation, we'll give you a base, but We're just showing you what's worked for us in our market, which is you guys. So you know what I mean? So it's gonna be a little bit different when you position the marketing towards like cannabis companies that you're gonna be doing email marketing for, right? So it's gonna be a little bit different. So if you're finding that it's working, run with it, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So good stuff. But any other questions on that regard?
No, I don't have any questions.
Awesome, man. Keep going, keep it up. I heard you got a teammate there in Keith now, so you guys are going head to head, and that's it. Competition, man. Be the best you can be.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'm good. I think Reese, you have something else, Reese?
A really quick one.
Yep.
We basically cut all of the Ulink campaigns that were going to outside of North America. And we've loaded up about 2,000 in North America fashion brands. And we're now adding another campaign in there. How many connectors can we just get going? They're all going to be fashion brands, but they all have slightly different filters on them. We just
Gotcha.
load up.
Yeah, if it's the same niche, then yeah, you can do, I mean, really you can do as many as you want,
Yeah.
but because remember I told you if you have multiple connector campaigns, the data is going to split. So just be mindful of that whenever as long as it's the same niche. And if you're doing tracking, like the tracking sheet we give you, you would just add up all the statistics in each of the connector campaigns so that you have the cumulative stats so that you can track it. It's a little more tedious, but it's the numbers. You get what I'm saying?
Sure, but it's the right way to do it over adding more and more searches into one connector.
If there is slight variation, then yeah, but like if you're testing different offers, if you're testing different messaging, yes, but it's the same audience, then it's not a big deal. But ultimately what we do, like some of our other clients will have, like for example, they have like a broad search. We don't recommend this with you guys, but they're kind of like, they're doing huge revenue, but they have more of a broad search where they're doing like just founders and CEOs of like B2B companies. Pretty broad. I wouldn't recommend that for you guys, but they just fill that campaign up with like 10,000 to 20,000 contacts, and then they just change the messaging as they're going. Right. So a little bit different, but I wouldn't recommend that for you guys. So just do what you're doing. I think you guys should be okay. Also, Damon, on top of that, I sent you a message about the AI account. So I think there's a feature now that I think they've updated because I haven't seen it before, but there's one of the features, I think it's like the LinkedIn Premium account. Not that you have to have LinkedIn Premium, but that's what they're calling it. And it comes with photo, like apparently there's a photo identification that'll come with the AI account. So that way, if it happens to come through, you just show the ID and you still get the account. So that's what I wanted to update you with if you wanted to give it another shot.
We would like to. The problem right now is they're not even working with us until they get what do they call it? Custom proxy settings in Ulink is what they're telling us. And I've sent notes to support since January 8th about it, and they're not answering the question. I've had 4 in the last 7 days to them, and they're not getting back to me. I know you know some guys over there. If you could just say, hey, find out. So, but what the LinkedIn AI company's asking for is literally, can they provide the custom proxy settings, which they don't have currently?
Okay. What I would do is maybe just like forget Ulink, like in their minds, just be like, hey, we're not even gonna, like, hypothetically speaking, but hey, we're not even gonna use Ulink. You know what I'm saying? Get Ulink out of the picture, because that's probably what they're tripping over. But I think as long as we just have that verification form that they offer and that other feature, that should be the ticket, because like clearly that's the issue, right? So yeah, if we can just change that and say, yeah, no, we're gonna use something else, but we're still gonna use Ulink, right? So yeah. Because I don't know how long it's gonna be, because you can't even find Ulink unless you go through somebody like me. So I don't know where they're gonna go.
Agreed.
Yeah.
No need to be started. I agree. No problem. Yep. All right. Good. That's good information. We'll ping them right now.
Cool. Awesome.
Thanks,
Great
man.
stuff, guys.
Perfect.
Anything else?
Good for me. Cheers, Ed.
No, that's great stuff, guys. Keep it going. Keep rocking. We're on an amazing pace, and let's keep signing more clients. Let's get it. All right.
Yeah, buddy. Good job,
right.
Carlo. We loved it.
Yeah,
Take
great
care,
job,
y'all.
Carlo. Keep it up.
See you later.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Alrighty, guys. Let's see. We've got a few people here. David, we've got Josu. I think Dave, I think you were here just after Reese. So how's it going?
Going okay. I had some time to finish everything. created the job posting. It's already up on LinkedIn, and I already got one person who who sent me a message on LinkedIn. So I sent her to the pipeline. I literally just posted it like 10 minutes before this call.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the middle of posting on Indeed, and then I'm going to go through the other stuff. I figured that would get me the most candidates the most quickly, and I thought it would also. The thing I'm trying to avoid is
Mhm.
having my friends apply for this job who I don't want to hire.
Okay.
I have some that I would, but I have some that I wouldn't.
Right.
And so I figured if I were to go through organically to post this, that I would be flooded with those first. And
Hmm.
so if I put it out on the job boards first, I'd probably get strangers, and then I can, go from there. And I think while, it's great to work with people, there are some people, you don't want, you don't want to work with. So.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's so, I mean, first 10 minutes, you already got a good applicant. That's great. Definitely leverage the Facebook groups that we've given you. And there's a ton more too. Like I mentioned you before, there's a ton of groups out there that you can find that are looking for opportunities like yours. So just take 15 minutes after this. Get that out there, and then you're gonna just see a ton of people come in that you can have for the setter position.
Yeah. And Yelly is launching some new Yuling campaigns to build the other side of the pipeline.
Great.
So that we have people that we can hand them and say, here's some leads, call these people. So everything's starting to come together.
Awesome. Great stuff. That's good to hear. And
And it's great to hear, the success that Damon and Carlos are having.
absolutely. So that they were in a very similar spot as you guys. So that's what I want you to emulate, right? Is get the leverage in place, because this week Damon sent me a message beginning of this week, and he goes, man, the calendar's flooding up right now, right? And it's working, and now they're closing clients, right? So we just, as long as we get that leverage in place for you and that volume, it's going to be smooth sailing, right? We're going to be off to the races even more so. So let's even get the prime focus.
I look forward to telling you we got our first deal. So, all right.
Oh well, yeah, 100%. That's got to be it. That's what I want to hear. I need to hear that from you. That's what I want. So yeah.
Yelly, did you have anything specific you wanted to cover or no?
Not really. No, not really. You and me, we were talking about new campaign. New connector campaign. That's all right. I don't have any questions.
Awesome, Yelly. Great. And if you do, make sure you always ask, okay? Make sure that we get some clear communication, because I want to help you make sure that you got this under control and we can get you some great results as well, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome stuff, guys. So anything else I can help you cover on today's call?
No, I think I got through all the technical stuff I was having issues with. I got to start working on the next the prospect pipeline video and all of that stuff. So while I'm going through the process of identifying candidates, I'll start working on that. And I'm actually thinking of adding another member to the team, not to do this, but to take some work off my plate so I can do more of this.
Great. Awesome. No, that's good. Yeah, more leverage is better. So yeah, well, definitely let me know if you have any other questions on that. In regarding to, what is it, just somebody that's going to handle like fulfillment, or how is that going to work?
It's someone who's gonna, there's client service work.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That I'm doing that I just want to turn over to someone else.
Gotcha. Great. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, get your time back, David. That's the goal. We need you to be the mastermind.
You got it.
There it is, my man. All right. Anything else?
We're good.
Let's get it. All right. Again, any questions, anything, message me right away, and we'll get you back as soon as we can. All right, guys?
You got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Take care. Enjoy your
Thank you.
Friday.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Jozu, how's it going, my man?
Just dealing with a sick family, but all's good. How about you?
Oh, sorry to hear that, but I'm not sick over here. We got to give you some sunshine, man, some vitamin D.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Yeah. I almost didn't make it again, missed last week. And I'm really just trying to make it out of the funk of January, I guess knee-jerk January, I like
Right.
to call it, right? Where every client needs something, new initiative, new this, new that. So trying to shift gears back to working on all of this.
Yeah. Good. So where are you at the moment? So I want to get a good pulse as to what you're focusing on and where we can help you start getting a move on in that sense.
Well, so one thing I got hung up on, and I shouldn't have, but I got hung up on using what they pulled into Ulink with all the contacts, and there were some people in there that I don't want to contact because I know them personally, and I remember, and with this volume and I haven't figured out how can I just basically add everybody but some people.
Okay. Well, why don't we jump over to your Ulink accounts or even your LinkedIn searches. And here, I'll let you share your screen. And then we
Okay.
can take a look at it there. And then I can help you with that.
All right, switching
Let's do that.
over to that. Right, so you got 2,500 results, and only certain per page. So I'm trying to figure out how to effectively go through and just add most, but not some.
Okay. So what I'm looking at here is that you've already added these people into a connector campaign. So if you go to connector at the top
Okay.
there, click that.
Okay.
Oh, maybe you haven't. That's weird. Okay, go back to search. Why does it say queue then? In queue. That's really weird. One second. Here, I'm just gonna request remote control from you here just so I can mess around.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so okay, let's go back to like page 20. Oh, okay. Okay, so it looks like that you have just those 54 people in there in the queue. It looks like you've already chosen people. Okay, so yeah, what I'm basically seeing here, Josu, is these people
Yeah.
here you've already put into a queue. So that's probably those 54 people that I saw over here in here.
Yeah.
Okay. So regarding everybody else, all right. So if we go back, how many people are on this page? So 30. Let's go back to like page like 4. Okay. So yeah, none of these people are in there yet, right? So you see how you can still select them or deselect them?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where you can configure that. Okay. So yeah, it's
Gotcha.
just a few pages back as to who you want to add in. So those first 54 people are already in a campaign that says there for that Las Vegas one that you had. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
So what's the best way to crank through this? If I mean,
Well, okay, so
basically,
this looks like it's a second degree search though. So are you sure that like you're familiar with all the people in here or or some of them?
No. I just some. That's the thing.
Okay.
I wish I could be like select all, but these few.
Okay.
Or is there an easier way once you get them into your campaign to be able to just go in there and take them out?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a little tedious, but do you know the people off the bat that you see in here that you wouldn't want to add?
Well, the one that, for example, I wanted to not was this, and she's in queue.
Oh, okay. Okay, well that one, see, if you go here, like the campaign isn't even active,
Okay.
right? So it's not even gonna send anything to her. What I would do is like the rest of the people that are in here,
Okay.
right? So outside of these ones, right? So everybody here and going forward, you can add these new people into this one that doesn't have anybody in there anyways, because we're matching this one up. So because that Tyra, whatever that person's name was, they're already in this campaign. They shouldn't go in this one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, basically a unique person can only end up in one campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, literally when you go over a couple pages here to the other people, just add all these people in to the campaign that we have there. So if I was going to do this, right, add new people, you're just going to add them into this one here. Boom. Right. So all those people that have not yet been added, these people are going to be added into that campaign. So then you can just launch it, but you definitely gotta get it launched so we can start getting some leads in for you.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Yeah, that sounds good. But what if they get into a campaign? How about if like one slips between the cracks and I just want to take them out? You
can take them out if they're in the campaign. If you notice, like you go to the connector campaign, for example, like let's say that you see the person in there and they just started, like they just connected with us, or the welcome message is there, and you're like, oh, I know that person. Then you can switch their status to later, or you can do no interest, so it'll stop. It'll stop messaging them. Yeah, so you can
That's
just
what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you can switch their status, and then they're good.
And so I would just hit select. I mean, like for example, this guy right here, which is somebody that I don't want to hit up, so we could do that. Then you change the status, you select, and then change it to, for example, no interest.
Yeah, you could change. Well, yeah, because he hasn't been connected with you yet, it won't do that. But what you could do if you just wanted to delete him, you could just select and then delete.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. I'm sorry, got hung up on one of the most basic things, but
it's okay.
I kind of didn't want to activate a campaign. Then, like for example, that Tyra, I'm on 2 accounts with her. Literally during this week, and I'm like, I don't want to hit her up with messages like this. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Not a problem at all. So yeah, just make sure you get these people into that connector campaign that you've made, the other people, and launch that, just so that we can start getting opportunities coming your way, because that's the goal, right?
Perfect.
Awesome. Any other questions on outside of that, Josu, that we can help you with?
Not at the moment.
Awesome, my man. Okay. And I'm just be aware also inside of school, I'm just sending you some updates in there and stuff. So if you do have any other questions, just make sure, right, you got me in here, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got your message.
Yeah, all good. Just make sure, like, any questions and you need anything, just hit me up as soon as you can, and we can get back to you as soon as possible, so we can get this rolling for you. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Aiden.
Awesome, Josu. Have an amazing Friday, my man. Let me know if you have any questions.
Will do. Thank you. You too.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Mark, what's going on, brother?
How's it going?
It's going, man. It's going. How about you?
I think I'm reaching that point where my bandwidth might just be forever stretched. Yesterday was just back-to-back calls, podcast interview, conversation with prospective JV partner one-on-ones. Today, one of my sales guys put 2 calls on the calendar today, which is exactly what we're looking for. First one went really well this morning. It was with a lawyer guy, actually. Nice. And this was, I think today I realized the importance of properly leading these calls, because for the last couple of leads with a lawyer, I've kind of just said, hey, take this call, and that's been that. And he hasn't closed anything. So for this one, since I put my sales guy on it, he put this lead on my calendar this morning at 10 a.m. and I contacted the lawyer and I said, you want to take this call with me? And he said, yes, would you mind leading it? And I'm sitting there thinking, this is your offer. Why am I leading your offer? Tell you what, I'll just do it anyway. And it ended up being a really good tit for tat. Like, she started out asking a ton of questions about the automations and how the system works, and I answered all that. And then she started asking questions that were more suited to his specialty. So he took it from me and then ran with it until the close. So she's definitely interested. She said, just send me a couple things about what next steps would be, and then we'll be off to the races. So yeah, didn't expect that one. Didn't expect that offer to get off the ground. I'd almost given up on it, honestly, but we saw some success this morning. We got another one this afternoon at 2 p.m. And there's 2 questions I have about these regarding the timing of these messages. And there's obviously a sweet spot within Ulink as far as engaging with a client when you want to hit them. So for this one today, the guy responded like yesterday, because my sales guy said, hey, how's 2 p.m. or Thursday, 2 p.m. Friday? And he said, sorry, I missed yesterday. Let's do 2 p.m. Friday. So I got that notification like literally 30 minutes ago. But looking at their chat history, it was very early on in the introduction. So, hey, nice to meet you, Mark. Awesome. Let's connect and let's hop on a call. Hasn't been pitched yet and hasn't heard any of the copy about AI. So how does the structure of the call change when they're that early on? Because I don't know how to pitch those guys when they're that early on in the process, unless it's just stick to the same type of process. Because I'll admit, I've never tried that. As the last call, if you remember, I've allowed a couple people to direct the calls, and if I just take control of it, then perhaps that's a different story. The second, I guess, case study, then this is something a lot of my sales guys are rubbing into. Mostly, I'm going to shoot you straight. Mostly Keyshawn, because as I'm getting to know him better, I don't think he's as aggressive as his resume stated that he would be. But the issue he's running into is he's getting people who are down and they're saying, yeah, let's book something. And then I'll send them times and then they just don't respond. Like that's the end of the conversation. So I told him, if you're not dialing these people, start dialing them, because you already have an in and you can have a viable reason to call them now. And they're a lot more likely to respond to that invite if you call them versus you just keep shooting them off emails. So he said, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll think about that. I'll get going on that, which makes sense. So, I mean, past that, what else is there to do for those types of people?
Okay. Let's split that up. So the first thing with the sales process, so break that down for me. Again, just a question. What is it that I can help you with specifically on the sales side there? Just break that
For the
down.
first one,
Yeah,
the
first
guy
one.
who says, nice to connect with you, let's hop on a call.
Yep.
There's the occasional person who will propose hopping on a call before I've even told him what I do.
Oh,
And
okay,
I
got you.
found those calls, I've had a couple of those don't always, they typically don't go in the direction of a sale, because, oh, you do this, well, okay, well, if I meet anybody who needs your services, I'll let you know. Like I've had back when I was doing this before I gave it to Josh and Keyshawn, I would book a couple of these who'd be, yeah, sure, let's talk. And then come to find out they have no use of my services, or I can't serve them properly given what they're doing in the market. So
Yeah.
is there any way to vet these guys better than, hey,
Absolutely.
nice to connect with you. Hey, okay, cool, let's hop on a call, and then we're off to the races.
So that,
Because,
yeah,
I mean,
so that what's happening is like they're taking connect like quite literally, like right off the hop.
Yes.
They're like, oh, let's hop on a call and connect, like network.
yes.
Waste of time if they don't have a buyer's intent or like know that they have a problem that you can solve, right? So
Mhm.
what you can do is almost like you can kind of sidestep it in a way in the messaging, right? So if they go like, yeah, here, like, here's my link or here's my number, stuff like that, be like, yeah, you just acknowledge it. Yeah, sounds great, John, right? Just curious as well, when I was looking at your site, what are you doing automation wise? Like before you jump on, I was actually just curious, like, what are you doing like automation wise to close more revenue or whatever it is, right? Like what are you doing to automate your client acquisition, or what are you doing to automate your onboarding process, or what are you doing to automate your fulfillment for your clients? Like, right. And talk about that in that sense. Oh, we're not really doing anything in that regard, right? And then you can also like give them context, be like, just so I can have maybe I can just give you some value before we jump on a call or something like that, right? And then they go, oh, I'm doing this, this, and this. I'd be like, okay, great. Well, funny enough, because I'm actually helping them to solve problem, get result. So yeah, it definitely would sound like we could jump on a call. How does time and date or time and date work for you? So essentially what you're doing is you're kind of sides that you're agreeing with them. Yeah, it sounds great. We can definitely connect. Just curious as to what you're doing with this, this, and this, right? Maybe I can add some value to you, right? So it's like incentivizing them, and then they're going to give you a response in regards to whatever it is that they're dealing with in that regard, like you said, in automation. And then from there, that's when you can be like, oh, that's actually really interesting, John. So we're actually helping blah, 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 like them to solve problem, get result. I'd actually be able to connect with you on this and see how I might be able to help you out. So let's do time and date or time and date, because they already said that they wanted to connect. Now there's even more of a reason for them to jump on that call. That's actually now going to be in your sales process, right? And then from there, you just make sure that you lead on the call, right? So opening call, right? Or maybe if one of your setters, I don't think you have setters taking your discovery calls yet, do they? No, not yet.
Not yet. I
Not
want to
yet?
give those to Josh pretty soon, because he's booked about 5 to 10 of these.
Okay.
And he's got the process down pat.
Okay.
Keyshawn's a lot slower to draw. I'm not gonna not gonna spitball there.
Okay. Definitely give Josh the opportunity then if he's consistent. So move him up so he's feeling like he's getting some, right? He's getting closer and closer to his goal. So definitely move him up and give him some calls to test out on his own. And follow the process. But for you, man, like you're definitely just gonna take control of the call from the get-go. So person comes on, hey John, how's it going? Yeah, it's going great. Yeah, awesome. Well, I know we just had like the 10-15 here cut out, man, but I'm really happy to connect with you. I know we were chatting on LinkedIn about XYZ, right? Yeah, I just wanted to learn a little bit more about this, blah, 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 right? They're gonna tell you, right? Like, awesome, man. Yeah, well, that being said, I'd love to get a little bit more context kind of like on you and the business. So I guess with that being said, man, like tell me a little bit more about what's your constraint with with automate, whatever it is that you're talking about, the automation process, onboarding, right? Whatever you're gonna help them with. What do you feel like the main constraint might be with that? And then talk about that, right? And then you're just gonna go into the discovery call process that we have given for you there that you can just follow step for step. But it's just about leading, right? Even if they do come and ask you questions, right? Right off the bat, you obviously want to frame it, right? You want to frame it from the beginning. Yeah, man, I just had a few questions to make sure maybe I can even provide you some value here today. I guess I was just a little bit more curious about XYZ, right? Oh, that's it. Yeah. So Mark, what do you do exactly? Right off the bat. Say I come into the call, like, what do you do? Yeah, man. So I have a automation agency, but yeah, we actually help a lot of people like yourself. I guess I was just curious, like, and then you flip it, right? You take control, right? The one who asked the questions is in control, right? So you want to be in control. And you just want to lead them throughout that process, right? And just take them through that. And anytime a prospect kind of jumps in and is like, well, I was just a little bit more curious about like, like what do you charge for this kind of stuff, Mark? Yeah, good question. I mean, it's not really like a cookie cutter type of system or service. That makes sense. Typically, I mean, I do gotta kind of have to learn a little bit more about this first, right? And then you would kind of turn it into, I gotta learn a little bit more about, what you're currently doing in regards to your time. Like how much time do you spend onboarding clients, right? How much time do you spend on the paperwork and fulfillment, right? And then you're positioning it back into their problem and their pain. Now they're bringing it back up, right? Now we're realizing that there's a problem at hand. You dive deeper into that, see how you can solve it. And then when it does come to prescribe a solution, then that's when you can give them the juice essentially at a high level and be like, hey man, like here's what we do. We specifically work with lawyers like yourself in order to automate a lot of their fulfillment and onboarding process with clients. So that way they can save anywhere from 40 to 50 hours of time so they can put that back into billable activities. Does that make sense, John? Awesome. Yeah, right. And then proceed with the rest of the script in that sense to then get them onto the sales call. But pure leadership throughout the top to bottom, right? Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool.
So the second one is it just a follow-up game at that point, or is it the messaging? Because I honestly don't know why. I mean, it could just be effort, honestly. But Josh and Keyshawn have the same script. Josh is putting stuff on the calendar multiple times per week. And I mean, it's not 10 appointments per week, but I'm definitely happy with what he's putting on the calendar. Keyshawn, like he'll throw me a lead who's interested. He'll say, how do I answer this question? And I'll say, tell him this or tell him that. But he hasn't put anything on the calendar yet. And I'm curious, what's Josh doing that Keyshawn isn't, basically, without looking at their messages, which would probably answer it, or how they're leading those conversations. Because I mean, I look at what Josh sends me and he's just copy pasting the sales script. There's very little variety to what Josh is doing, but it's working really well for him.
Gotcha. So this is on Ulink primarily, is what you're saying? Yes. Okay. What about the outbound dials?
Outbound dials, Josh does them, and it's a hit or miss for him. Okay. That's something specifically I want to dial in with him, like more specifically. Keyshawn, I mean, being fully transparent with you, I've wondered how long I should give an employee to do some of these steps before it's just not a good fit anymore. Like when we were over break, I did my one-on-one with Keyshawn and I said, how are dials doing? And he's like, oh, I just haven't been doing them. I realize I like Ulink more than I like dialing, so I just haven't been prioritizing them lately. And I was like, well,
you can't have them do that, man. You got 100% have to be like, dude, you want this result? You want to become a closer? Yeah, well, you got to be on the phone, dude. Like that is, you're not going to close deals over Ulink. It's not going to work, right? So you 100% have to emphasize, listen, man, the majority of your opportunity, yes, Ulink is going to supplement a lot of this for you because it's automated. It is easier in a sense, right? But ultimately, the result that you want in the end, if you want to become the closer here, so I can give you this entire sales process, right? You want to give them the responsibility, right? Because you want to tell them too, listen, man, I don't need to be the superstar in sales in this company. That's not what I do. I do automation. That's what I'm the genius at. So I need to be genius there. You need to be a genius at sales. That's ultimately what I want you here for. You know what I mean? So with that being said, man, I got to have you hammering calls, right? That's got to be the first priority. And then you got to hit those 100 dials a day, so that way we can give you more volume, which gives you more opportunity to move up in the sales pipeline yourself. As for somebody that would be taking discovery calls, then taking closing calls, then when we're building up this team where you're going to be managing the team because you know the process from top to bottom, right? Because then they're going to have to you're going to have SOPs and stuff that you can leverage from us, but like you're ultimately going to make sure that he understands, like, if you're going to run the sales team eventually or close, you got to be able to help the other guys out too that are going to get more calls on your calendar. You know what I mean? So that means understanding the outbound process. So you got to nail that in and spend some time on that. So definitely make sure that that's a priority for them. Because I mean, you weren't here earlier, but Damon, our other client there, they just added a couple more setters on outbound dials. They had, like, I think it was like on Monday, they had like seven book calls alone on Monday there. And then they just closed a client today within the week. So, and that's just volume, right? Because they're prioritizing outbound dials and supplementing with LinkedIn, right? So that's what we really want to focus on, because we're even seeing that work for ourselves. So we want to see the same thing for you. So follow up, yes, is definitely it. I know you're asking there about follow up on Ulink, 100%, right? You want to stay on top of that. That is the tedious part, but it is the thing that will get you guys paid later on, because fortune is in the follow up. I still believe that, and it's worked for us. So definitely, you definitely want to give them a little bit more like guidance in that sense. And again, feed them the vision, right? As the founder, feed them the vision that they can buy into, especially for their own success, right? They need to see the success from what that work is going to pay off to, right? So, you know, listen, Josh, do you want to just be doing Ulink forever, man? Like, realistically, no. Like, you want to be on calendar, taking sales calls, closing deals. I mean, right? You want to be that guy. Yeah, 100%. Well, here's how that process is going to look like, right? And as long as you follow that process and you provide as much output as you can, it's going to close the gap for you getting there, because the experience and the repetition is just going to be boom, boom, boom. You're going to get there faster, right? So it's just emphasizing that and then leading them towards it, right? And if they start to fall off, then you just ask them, hey, man, like, you know, I just noticed your numbers are down. Like, you know, what's going on? Is everything okay? Right? I noticed that, you know, when you came into here, just looking at your application, you said, like, you know, for like Keyshawn, for example, right? You know, you said, you know, you're just hammering calls, like you're an absolute savage. Like, I just want to make sure, man, is there something maybe I'm not providing you on my end? And you always want to take ownership first, right? What is it that I can provide you on my end that's going to get you the success here, right? As a founder, you want to be the one to kind of take the hit first and be like, you know, what am I doing on my side that maybe, you know, could help you a little bit more, or maybe what I'm not doing. Is there anything on my side that I can help you with? No, man, it's just me. I'm just having, you know, off days and stuff like that. And that's the part of running a sales team, right? Rejection, the mental game, right? You gotta keep them kind of firm, right? Keep them bulletproof in that sense. Be like, okay, man, totally understand. These days are gonna happen, right? Do you think that it's easy to get to 10 to 20K per month as a closer, as a salesperson? Because how many people do you hear doing it? Well, not really, man. There's not many. Well, exactly. So you got to take the bullets, right, on the days where you don't feel like doing it, right? But as long as we do this together as a team, we're gonna help you get there, kind of thing, right? It's just leadership.
Yes. So question on those numbers, and I see there's two different arguments that I've seen for numbers, because I just hired a guy like 2 days ago, and I'm pretty sure the guy's a sociopath. Like, holy jeez, the guy just he did his research on me really well. Like, in his video, he name dropped Duke University, he name dropped all the AI he wants to learn, and he's super enthusiastic. Like, I told him I'll get back to you within 24 hours for the job application. Like, as soon as 24 hours had come past, he shot me a text message and said, hey, can't wait to hear from you. Like, the guy's on it. So I hired him, and my onboarding call with him is in like 20 minutes.
Okay.
So there's that. And I gotta water down the process I currently have. So I gotta figure that out in the next 15 minutes. But there's another guy I interviewed yesterday, and something just I'm curious what you think. Well, two things. One is how many people on your team are in between that 10 to 20K per month band range? Because I've had a lot of people check the math on it, either in the interview process or just my guy Gabe. You know, Gabe's he does pretty decent dialing actually, and he's basically an idea factory, but he looked at the spreadsheet and he said, these numbers don't make sense. Can you walk me through this math? And I did so in a way that was able to make sense to him, but he's like, if you reverse engineer this funnel, in order for somebody to make those numbers, they got to be dialing like 12 hours a day. That's a pretty big ask for anybody, let alone a decent seasoned closer. So my question for you is, what pay range are your people in, and how are they achieving it basically? Because I look at my product, if I could be wrong, but based off your pricing strategy, you know, you charge rounding up 5K. I don't remember what your commission structure is.
Yeah, it's more now. It's more now. Like we're increasing that now, and we're also doing a lot more retainer deals right now as well. So what I would say for you, yeah, volume's gonna be key, right? Because we only have like the one guy in that range right now, right? But you want to have essentially what you want, man, and you want to be transparent with them from the beginning, right? Be like, listen, man, we like for me, this is a model that I'm looking to prove with bringing on new guys into the team. Like I'm just expanding my team now. But the goal is to have you there. Now, what you might need to do is kind of, that's where I think like, especially for you, increasing your pricing is going to be key. Like spend like 3K. I think that honestly, man, like you should be charging, I wouldn't charge anything less than 5K for you personally. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you'd be better off charging closer upwards of like 8 to 10, right? And then you're also incentivizing these guys to then, if you're closing, let's say if you get high volume, it's not going to be that, difficult if you get multiple setters and even for one of these guys to move into that position as a closer, for them feeding them that amount of calls for them to hit that range. Like it's again, you can raise your pricing and then more increase the volume, because that's what it really comes down to, because it's not one person. I think he's thinking singular, like one person has to be dialing, but if you're a closer, you're making that much money, not a setter. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Yes. The vision I've given them is I tell them right now I sell the packages for 3 to 5K.
Yeah.
And I'm looking with this pathway to get it to, you know, 6 to 10K for the pricing. And, you know, in 6 months, when everything's really drilled into where I want it to be, you know, I give you 25% commission off a 10K deal. You just got to close like a deal a week. And that's 10K a month right there. So ballpark, most people are like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I guess I can work with it. And the challenge there is it's like, I was on a class a couple like 6 or 7 months ago. And as an engineer, this is something I've had to unlearn, is being able to factually present something as what's possible versus what's most likely. Like I've always been hesitant to market something as what's most likely, because as what's possible rather, because it seems slightly inauthentic. But then this other guy on this course, he said, think of what is, like if you do all these things, then you can reach the 10K range. That is a distinct possibility if they put in the work. So you don't want to undersell that, because the people who are willing to put in the work will reach that point. And if they don't put in the work, then they won't get it. Like he says for his courses, he said like, my thing is like, you have a course built out in 90 days from start to finish. If you don't put in the work, you're not going to have a course in 90 days, no matter how you spin it. So he redirected that back to, yes, this 10 to 20K per month, for example, is possible as long as you put in the steps to get there.
Literally. Yeah. It's just, you gotta, there's no way around it. You know what I mean? Like you're not just going to magically spawn $10,000 to $20,000 in your account by doing nothing. Right. Like that's also why I'm telling you, for like your other guy there, that's not really prioritizing dials. Like how, like you gotta, like, he's not gonna be able to move up in the process to effectively even take discovery calls. I mean, you can, but like the real closing comes from your ability to actually do an outbound cold call and get somebody into your sales process. Like that's skill in itself. The rest of it is pretty more straightforward, because now you have a sales process to follow. Right. So like there's work involved. Right.
Yes.
So they gotta prove it. They gotta be consistent. And then that's when you can move them into that closer role.
Okay.
Right. If you're going to be growing it like that, especially at the stage that you're at. Right. So I would even like move Josh, like tell him, okay, man, here's the plan. we need you to like, I need you to like start prioritizing like the dials for the next rest of January going into February. And then I want to get you on discovery calls. So now you're just taking discovery calls, right? Making sure you're role playing with them and going through role plays and quality control, taking a look at their recordings and everything like that as well. So that way you can give them direct feedback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's chomping at the bit to do more stuff. Like he even asked me on our last one-on-one, do you need help with the automation fulfillment? Because I can teach myself what you're doing and I can take some of the small projects off your plate. And I was like, that's awesome. I mean, I probably don't need that. I didn't tell him that specifically, but I said, yeah, I can definitely find more stuff for you to do. So
yeah,
telling him,
keep him focused on sales. Just
yes,
sales guy, right? Like that's where he's going to make money, right?
Yes.
That's where that's where your opportunity is really going to come from. Cause that's what the role is intended for. It's great that he wants to help you in other areas, right? But you need revenue coming through the door, you know, like, you know what I mean? So that's his main priority. And then, you know, let's say you do like I'm not saying that at a certain point, if you do have that leverage from a sales team that he's like, hey man, like I'm enjoying sales, but I would love to help you on the fulfillment side. And then he gives you leverage on the fulfillment side and you get somebody else to replace him in sales. Like that could happen. And that's just playing people to their strengths within your company. You could very well do that. But I think right now, just where you're at, sales, dude, sales.
Yeah, the point of me saying that is he definitely wants to progress further in whatever capacity he can.
Okay.
So he'll most likely be open to taking these sales calls and learning that. And everyone I've spoken to that's spoken to him, I think I told you this, they've all complimented his abilities. Like he's small talk is kind of choppy with him for reasons I'm still trying to figure out, honestly. But everybody that has spoken to him and spoken to me gives him the highest regards. It's uncanny.
There you go. And that's the guy you want to feed, man. You want to feed that guy. You want to put more energy into him and give him opportunities. So definitely, because he wants to feel valued. If he's asking you, man, hey, give me more stuff, man. Like, let me help you. That's a guy you want to keep around. Like, all right, man, here, take discovery calls, dude. I need you to take discovery calls because you're the important piece here. I need you to be my superstar with this, right? Praise him on that, right? Like, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate that. Here's what I need you to do next, because this is going to be your next goal. Right. And then he's going to be the guy. It sounds like he's going to be the guy to move into closing calls for you. Right. And just invest your time and energy into him to getting him better. Again, Keyshawn, maybe get another couple guys in there, like lower end setters, to then maybe boost up Keyshawn a little bit, make sure they're competing outbound dials. Right. And that exact process we just did for Damon shot their results up tremendously because they got some competition in on their setters and people are booking like crazy and they're closing clients. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Here it is, man.
All right.
Awesome stuff. Anything else, brother?
That's all for now. I got this call in 12 minutes. Oh, I guess one last question. Try to keep this quick.
No worries.
The guy from yesterday, do you hire people like if they're just straight up money hungry? Are those like do those people stick around usually in your experience or no?
Yeah, as long as they understand the growth path. Like as long as they understand they're not getting rich tomorrow. Like
okay.
Yeah. You want money hungry people on sales for sure. Just make sure that they understand that their output is what's going to get them results.
Okay.
Right. So again, I always tell people, I give them a growth path, right? I give them like, here's 4 months within the company, what that looks like from setter to closer. But you can 100% close that gap based on your output, your proactivity, consistency, and your coachability, willing to take feedback and implement. The faster you can do that and the more often you do that, you will succeed here. Bar none.
Makes sense.
Right? So it's just making that very clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got for now. Thanks
That's it, Mark. Awesome stuff, man. It's good. We're trending in the right direction. Love that case study last week as well. That was awesome. Really appreciate it.
Have you used it yet?
Yeah, it's great. It was great stuff. And yeah, let's keep killing it, man. Let me know if you have any more questions, okay?
Will do. Thanks much, Aiden. Talk
Cheers.
soon.
Take care. Bye.